Oh, that's at work. That's at work. I took it with me
Oh, yeah, you
there all
told
day.
me. That's
hmm
awesome.
hmm
We are live. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Welcome back to
morning.
Together. I am your host and founder, Pratiba Day. You are tuning in for your cup of courage, hope, and imagination today. So I am wishing you a happy Monday because I've just realized it's Monday with all the transition going on. And today I have with me an old friend of mine, Mr. Sajid Chaudhary, and I've been really looking forward to having him on for the reason of having someone on who isn't pursuing 100% entrepreneurship, isn't a coach, isn't the usual people that I've been having on recently, who are authors and things of that nature. Someone who's more really in the community, because someone had told me before, Sajid, that they didn't feel comfortable coming on because I have such successful people on my channel.
Oh God.
And and I know that's what you're pursuing. But the ones who have already, made it, like the people that have come on that shared with me that they felt hesitant and they felt nervous because hey, thanks, Phoebe. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hello. I apologize for the lighting isn't the greatest, but it will be as I'm still adjusting. So yeah, the person was sharing like how they didn't feel as confident. That's what I took away from it, right? Because of the people that I had on before. But it's really about, our journeys, like just as average people, day-to-day life, like what people go through. It's about the real stories, not just the stories of people who are now coaches and in that higher statuses. It's about what's really here first, and then you can always get to that next level, but it starts here. Like I'm starting here too, yeah. So, all right, Sajid, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So, as Pratibha said, my name is Sajid Chaudhary. I am an actor, a camera operator, and a personality.
You do have a personality. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time today because I know you do have a restaurant to run. Tell everyone about your restaurant.
So it's called Zan's Kebab King. It's
Yeah.
located in Ben Salem. We sell kebabs, a lot of rice entrees.
Awesome. Awesome. Hi, Cedric. Thanks for tuning in. Great morning. Yeah. Do you want to share a bit more about, your schooling and how you got into acting, things of that nature?
Yeah, sure. So around senior year of high school, I didn't think the traditional routes were going to work out for me. My head was in
Yeah.
the clouds. So I went to the acting seminars, like, hey, come, we'll make you a star. Realized the hard way that's not what happens. And just dabbled in small projects around Philadelphia.
Wow. I want to talk about one of those projects and you know which one it is. And I'm going to post a link below for people to check out. But regarding mental health, tell us about that clip that you did because it was,
Mhm.
and I shared it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the clip you're talking about, so it was for an acting class I had, and the
Mhm.
teacher said like, "Hey, everyone, write out your own monologue or just write out a piece, and you're going to perform it in front of the other students to just really get a feel for what you're showing." Is
Mhm.
generally things you share from your personal self are a lot more. They're a lot more real. You feel connected to it. You can showcase those emotions because you've lived through it.
Wow.
And the practice was supposed to help you when it came to other monologues. Like, hey, see what you were able to channel here. You're able to channel this elsewhere too. But seeing is believing.
So good. You're so good at interviewing. What do you remember? I don't remember what the clip was on per se, but it was on mental illness, right?
hmm
Do you remember what it was? Do you want to share what it was?
So it was about me having to go to the doctor for the therapist for major depressive disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I chose to write it on. And my brother had ADHD, so I tried comparing the two and then realizing what MDD actually entailed.
Tell
So the
us more
way
about that. Yeah.
The
Go
way
ahead.
MDD was described to me, I guess it's common with folks of our background. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
being a first generation American, I mean, you have uh, so many expectations on you, and sometimes those expectations can become an inner demon. Like, hey, you're the first in a generation of 20, 25 children. Hey, you've got to do this prestigious thing to set up the route for these other kids. Which I mean, nothing wrong with, but it just wasn't my thing. I couldn't get into the blood and other stuff. I dabbled in biology and other fields, but couldn't find the click for it. But yeah, major depressive disorder, common with people of like Pakistani Indian descent, and just trying to find a way to push through that.
Wow. What change would you like to see there? Because it is tradition, like it's traditional, right? The culture and all of that. What change would you like to see in, our community? You're Pakistani, from in Delhi, but there was a time where we were one, right? We're
Right.
basically the same. I still think we're the same. I just say we're Indian.
We're the same, right?
Just say
It's
we're
it's
Pakistani.
whatever.
I don't mind because my grandparents, I mean, they were there when it split,
Hmm.
had to come from Pakistan to India. So it's like, I'm Pakistani then. Like, you know what I mean?
There we go. Well, my
Like,
grandfather was born before
yeah.
it split apart, so I don't mind if I'm called Indian. I'm
Yeah.
sure when I was younger, there may have been an ego thing there, but I mean, I'm past like the borders and whatnot.
Yeah, we're the same. We're the same. And I do want to learn more about my own history too, but what do you want to see change like in our community there? Like, do you want more awareness for it? Like that pressure that they put on us?
I mean, the pressure is always there. I feel, I mean, granted, other communities probably go something through something similar. It's like a coming of age, like how like diamonds are made under pressure.
Yeah.
You've gotta get
Right.
through all of that to get to the good stuff. Not so much, I'd say, for like just people that are going through MDD and similar mental illnesses. I mean, sure, bring awareness to that, but also if there were some resources to help the previous generation deal with their traumas. Because a lot of it is, I couldn't do it, so you couldn't do it. Or
Yes.
this is what my family's been known to do, and this is what you're going to be. I mean, you don't have many options. And I mean, you could meditate and you can internalize and you can deal with all the stuff here, which will go a
Hmm.
long way. But oftentimes you're like a lone wolf. And when you
Yes.
come from a big group of people, a big family, where it's very paternal or like a matriarch like type of society, the smallest thing just splits you apart. So I would honestly wish for more resources for the previous generation in handling their own traumas.
That is so hard, tough to understand because, my mom has paranoid schizophrenia and IED, which is the illness anxiety disorder. A lot of people don't know that aspect, which is fear based, where she believes she's physically sick. So she is sick. She makes herself sick. It's in the mind.
Right.
And through repetition over 40 years, she was in India, then she came here in her 40s. So it's like those mannerisms and all those things stick. So that's a really difficult thing to unravel, as I've attempted for like 9 months, but that's because she has a psychotic illness. Now for MDD, right? For major depressive disorder. So you've seen in your personal experience more of that in your family and like Pakistani community, right? Like have you
Mhm.
experienced with other people? Like have they shared with you too in your family, or is that like a family secret that's like we don't talk about that?
Not necessarily. I mean, like for instance, for the men, it's just, hey, we're men, suck
Mhm.
it up. And the woman, it's kind of like, hey, it's just the way things are. Like there's not another norm. It's normal.
Morning,
Um,
Rob. Sorry, Robbie said Saj.
cool. How's it going,
Yeah.
Robbie? Always a
Oh,
pleasure.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, it's just thinking about where I wanted to go with that thought. But
Yeah, you're
yeah,
saying men are told to suck it up, but have you ever spoken against those things? Like, did you ever have the courage yet to speak up against those things?
oh, for sure. But
Mhm.
it's not that haven't had the courage. Like, you know, if you see something wrong, you point it out. But when I would bring this to attention to like other folks in my family, they're like, oh, no, it's cool. Don't, like, you know, I'll get through this. I'll internalize. I'll pray more. And I mean, praying, other stuff, it helps, but it's kind of just like putting a Band-Aid on
Yes.
whatever you're going through, because you're not really getting to the grits of, oh, that was a weird thought, or, oh, why am I just getting really angry, or why do I have to seclude myself when I get home. It's a lot of nitty-gritty when it comes to introspection. I mean, I remember when it's been a little. The 25th was my brother's 1-year death anniversary, so it's just a few days past that. And I know when my dad came back from Pakistan, he was stuck over there due to COVID, so he couldn't be here for the funeral. Like, he just had no way to getting back here. And me and him, I mean, he was like a tornado. He just had all of these unprocessed emotions. And coming from a working class family, and his dad was always working, and now he's always working. He's just like, work, work, work. By working, I don't have to deal with these emotions. And I remember just helping him get to a point like, hey, it's okay for men to cry. Like, he was like a dam, like, you know, just like bursting. And I mean, it sucks to see him cry, but at the same time, it's also like, I'm happy he's at least able to do that. I mean, crying in one ways or another, it could help you heal. It can also be very damaging if you don't know when to shut the gates to the dams off. It's like, okay, now I have to take a break. I got those emotions out. Now I can function. And you're walking around with too much baggage. It's like another like 40 pounds, whatever it may be. So sometimes you just need to decompress and get that all out there.
Wow. I really like that you were that lighthouse for your dad, you know, our generation, that, hey, it's okay to cry, because, you know, maybe no one has told him that it's okay to cry in his whole life, right? From Pakistan. And over there, they, you know, they have that the masculinity that, you know, suck it up, like, you're the man, like, you're the breadwinner. And here it's just like, you can cry. Like, a lot of men cry all of the time, but are more vocal about it and not. And something I learned recently from Sadhguru, because, you know, I follow his teachings.
Yeah, right.
He said, and thanks to everyone who's tuning in, he said, people love you, Sajid, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you know, you're a great person. And I'm really, before I go on with that, I really am happy that you decided to come on and had the courage to come on, because it's about, you know, courage, hope, and imagination, you know, the courage of your story that we share here, the hope that, you know, you've used to overcome, and then imagination that, you know, now we can resonate and understand with what you're saying, because a lot of people can relate to loss in all senses and forms. So I wanted to say on that, I don't remember, but regarding Sadhguru, he recently said being, and, you know, that not to label introvert and extrovert. That's something that comes to mind, because people are as they just are, that some are just more vocal and some are not. And that was his definition, that, but not to define it to a level of separation as people do. Like, I'm an introvert. This is why I do this. I'm an extrovert. That's why you do, you know, that's why I do that. Or, you know, defining a person based on this introvert, extrovert thing. That's something I recently learned, and I'm going to now step away from that and just say that I just am, like, instead of defining myself, because a few people had said that they doubt that I'm an introvert because I am online and things of that source. And it's like, but you don't know how I am on a daily basis. Like, I like that time alone. So, like, how are you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So right now, being in the restaurant industry, there's no really introvert, extrovert. I'm just full time. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for choosing Zen's Kebab King. And then I come home and I'm just sapped of all of my emotions.
Oh my God. You know what else is really emotionally draining? What I learned at Rowan University was when one of our students worked one of my classmates worked at Chick-fil-A, and they have to constantly say my pleasure, and it's
Mhm.
emotionally exhausting to the person that they go home drained. And those kind of customer service jobs are very unhealthy in the long run, and I'm just grateful I don't have to do it.
Oh, for sure. It's not so much the my pleasure. I mean, I enjoy that
Yeah,
people would give us the time of the day. It's just the
yeah,
consistency and
yeah.
just having to just
Exude,
relying that throughout the day, just like
exude
positive
yourself.
energy levels. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like there's only so much a person can do. I remember when I was younger and
Mhm,
I worked at Burger King during high school, and I was always told to smile. Just
mhm,
it's like that is not normal. That's impossible. And I had a manager who's from overseas, and the gentleman who was giving who I was checking out, he was like, "You don't have to listen to that." Like for me to listen to my manager. I can't permanently smile the whole time. It's not normal. It's not healthy for me. And it's pretty much impossible, like to be smiling all of the time. It's not natural. So I'm glad I had during that time someone to stand up for me. And
mhm.
for your restaurant business, I want to ask you, is this something that you're partnering up with? Is it your family restaurant?
It's a family-run business.
Okay.
It's something
Awesome.
thank you. It's something my dad opened up, and now that I'm running it, now that I have been running it, to
Mm,
help, I'm just kind of there.
yeah.
Because it's like, okay, now I can't find someone else to replace me or to
Mm,
step into my shoes. It's also,
yeah.
I mean, once you get something started, you have to see it through to a certain point before you can move on to the next endeavor.
Mm.
So when it's a little more afloat, maybe it'll give me time to get back to what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, I was going to say that that's what came to mind because that's another thing, right? In our culture and even Spanish culture and like different communities where they have the family collaboratives,
Hmm.
or even in like Thailand when I lived there, it's like everything is family collaborative. Here in America, it's very individual. You know, you look out for yourself, that kind of nature. You don't eat together, really, those kind of things.
Hmm.
For you, I know your passion is in acting. That's what you want to do. But right now, it's like you're supporting, you're there for your family because that's in the culture, and
Hmm.
that you're there for them with this restaurant. It's like some people have, the construction business, as we see in like Indian movies.
Right.
Something
Hmm.
is the son assists the family with that, but it's really not what you're meant here to do.
Hmm.
So, what would you like to see for yourself, and when is the date that you would like to leave there and give, delegate it to someone else so you can, keep pursuing acting?
Right. Well, I mean, to go on that, I mean,
Yeah.
so 2 days from now, I'm flying out to Atlanta. I think that's where you are now, right?
What?
Yeah. So
Oh my God.
yeah, so I'll be there for 5 days. I mean, Atlanta,
Where?
I want to say is like a new Hollywood. A lot of people are migrating there for opportunities.
Where are you
So
going? Where are you going?
I just picked a place and went.
What is it called? I just went to Tyler
I
Perry Studios yesterday and I saw it and I was like, oh my God.
that's one of the places I'm gonna visit for sure.
Really?
Uh
Because I live here. I live next
oh
to Tyler Perry Studios.
oh man. So then we're definitely gonna have a chance to connect.
Oh my God. WTF. Yeah, go.
W2 what
What the?
WTF.
See, and you were meant to come on at this time and we're matching. And like, see, things in my life are aligned. Like, this is what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Uh, continue on, like on what I had said.
So for me, it's
Yeah.
about finding a place where I can fit in and feeling comfortable taking that leap. Because even the five,
Ah.
6 days I'm stepping out, like I'm not used to taking care of
Oh
myself. It's
my God.
kind of like,
I know.
let me take care of everyone else. I'll be the
Yes.
last in line.
No, you need to go to the massage place here,
Okay.
do it. Like there you have to take care of yourself because
Hmm.
you just have to. And like you work long hours. It's very necessary for you to do
Right.
so. So so you picked Atlanta because of that reason, right? For business and entrepreneurship. Like it's up and
Yeah,
up.
networking. They also have an aquarium that I'm excited to check out.
So what part? Like what part are you
All right.
coming to?
So I will tell you right now.
Okay.
I will be in Northwest Atlanta, Bishop Street, if you're familiar with
Oh,
that.
no, I don't know yet. I just been here 5 days.
Oh man, I think I'm pretty close to like a central area.
Okay. Okay. We'll talk later about that. But
Right.
so ask you, so now when I asked you, when you decide, when are you going to delegate that responsibility to someone else for the restaurant and leave, for your own well-being?
Mhm.
So when is that date for you? Like, when do you see yourself doing that?
I want to say sometime later this year. It could be three
Yeah.
months. It could be 6 months. I mean, I
Yeah.
gave myself a year. Like this whole last year was just say I'm just gonna be there
Mhm.
for my parents. I'm gonna be there for my family, and then I'm gonna find a way to get ahead. Because it's
Mhm.
always like, hey, you have to save this amount to move. You have to get this in place before you can do it,
Trust
and
me, it's not that, because I did not do that.
just
You
jump
know what I
ship.
mean?
Right.
I just jumped. I just jumped, and it made me believe in myself more, and I have a lot of courage from it. And trust me, it's challenging. Yesterday I had a very challenging day, and I cried and released because, it's my own responsibility. I'm on my own now, and it's like I have things
Right.
to transition over from, New Jersey, and like a lot of things to get done. I'm also in grad school, so it's like, yes, it can be overwhelmed. So I did breath work this morning, a 30-minute breath work meditation, and I'm being held accountable for that every day because, when you're in such a transformational place, you really do need to take care of yourself, which is what I believe can be best for anyone at any time, such as you.
Right.
And so, this desire to come to Atlanta, is that something that, you're just doing for yourself?
Mhm.
You feel like you need a break?
Big time. It's been
Yeah.
a long year.
Yeah.
It's been a
And
long year.
I want to know, are you comfortable, like, now speaking about your brother a bit?
For sure.
Okay.
Uh, I could definitely talk about my brother. So Ali Chaudhary, my late brother, he was 25 when he passed away.
Mhm.
He was very extroverted, life of the crowd. He would have made a better actor, entertainer than I would any day of the week, no questions asked.
Mhm.
When he was much younger, he got mixed up with the wrong crowd. It was kind of like the lone wolf, like, hey, that stuff isn't really for me. I'll go do my own thing. But he had ADHD, so he was on and off of Adderall, which led to other stuff that was just worse with coping mechanisms, not really having a I guess a direction for his life. Like when you're breathing, whatever you may be doing, you're grounded. Like, okay, I have something to look forward to, whether it's a
Mhm.
dream, whether it's a passion, your kids, your job, whatever you're committing yourself to, it gives you a way forward. And I think for him, that was a very tough thing to find. I mean, being in a working to me, I don't want to blame like circumstances, like things happened the way they did for a reason. But
Mhm.
running the family of businesses, doing other stuff, none of it was really like him.
Mhm.
So with I tried really hard. I got him into rehab. I took him to a therapist. I've tried to find him as much resources as I could to really keep him pushing, really keep him along. Because I mean, I kind of always not. I don't want to say always, like more so. No, I'll say always. From a young age, I thought I was gonna lose my younger brother. I mean, granted, now I think of him here as in another form or something, like trying to keep
Mhm.
his spirit alive. But I always kind of felt like, hey, man, this world, this place isn't for him, and
Mm.
it got the best of him with COVID starting. I think what March last year. It really kicked the gears for like just being stuck in your head and like going into that void. Even before he was able to socialize, get out, talk with different friends, whoever they may be, he had an escape. Being stuck at home, I think, got the best of him, which was his exiting point for this world. Well, this dunya, or this plane we're in. um, yeah, but I mean, it was a really long year. I mean, I don't know how deeper I can go. I think I'm like right there where I go any deeper, it's going to be like just a whole different Saj. But myself, I mean, having a big family, uh, my dad not being here, I mean, it was my job, you know, make sure everything is cool. I was like, I mean, not that I minded like stepping up to the plate. I was happy I was able to be that for those around me. I mean, granted, I had a lot of family that initially, well, not initially, they reached out, they made sure I was okay, which I was really thankful for. But just being the grounded one, allowing everyone to deal with their emotions. What is it called? Encouraging them to deal with their emotions, like not letting it bottle, like dealing with like mental illness, like most of my teen adult life, whether it's anxiety or depression, whatever it may be. I always understood what it was like to deal with that demon. And if you don't deal with it, it gets the better part of you. So there was a lot of that. I looked at it a couple different ways. The first few weeks, I couldn't even talk about it. If someone brought my brother up, I would start mumbling. That was like, you know, I didn't know how to process a thing. Like, you know, just being this emotionally void kid growing up, like always like a customer service type of personality. Because of my most of my jobs have been service related jobs. Like, hey, how are you doing? I was a camera salesman in Lansdale. And the guy's like, dude, you're so polite. I don't pay you for polite to be polite. You don't have to do this. It's just been ingrained in me, being well, that type of personality. But yeah, letting the family deal with their emotions and being around for everyone, and then slowly processing the whole thing myself. I mean, he tried for many years. There were a couple different resources. It was his. I mean, that's how I'm trying to, in a healthy way, look at it now. It was his time. um there's hopefully something better for him in the afterlife, where he could be in a much better well, peace, tranquility. But there wasn't really much going on for him here where I could just keep um pushing him to, like, hey, you're in pain, I don't know how to help you deal with your pain, let me keep you here while you continue to struggle. And uh well, that sounds terrible too, I don't know. uh, I don't know how to help you deal with your pain. And I kind of feel guilty. I mean, I carry it with me. I try, like, you know, not really letting it eat me up, but it's kind of like his last day on earth, I was mad at him because he wasn't taking care of himself. And his last day, he left without, like, you know, saying one word, or one just conversation we had between each other. Like, I was his last, I don't want to say it was his last, but his like last like grounding point. You know, kind of everyone's like, hey, you know what, whatever, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Like, I give up. And I'm just like, hey man, I got you, I'm here for you. And the last day was just like, man, what the hell? Like, what? Why are you not the way you are? But I was pretty verbal. I was pretty angry. Um, Man, lo and behold, I found him at the end of the day, and took his last two breaths like right in front of me. And that kept me up for quite some time. Um, it was a lot. I mean, in a sense, I was thankful he was able to spend his like last moment here with me. I mean, granted, there's no way to really feel about that moment. Like, you're not like, okay, we were always tight. Thanks for this last moment. But it's also like, damn, this is it. Yeah, well, that's a little runaround. I don't.
It's okay. I just want to say everything you said just how open you are about it. I'm just really happy with that because you're talking about it. So I'm not a therapist, but the fact that you're talking about it, sharing it with people, and people are tuning in to listen, that's really meaningful because people can relate to pain, right? We all have some kind of pain. And no, you know that saying when they say always to be kind because you don't know when the last time you'll speak to someone and see someone, things of that nature. I experienced that as well, not where the person was, passing on, but just to say I have also seen, but this is in a different context. My grandmother and my uncle passed in front of me, but not in that context where, it's a younger brother and it's not their time. It's, youth wise, it's like not their time to go, but they're going. But one thing I can say is you said it's like you're very consciously aware that, he was suffering. So it's like he's free now, right? You don't want to keep him suffering all those years when he's just suffering, it's like it's not living, right? Because it's just flesh, but it's like inside within he has no peace. And now this is, one way for him to be at peace. And that's how we consider it. And yeah, like the one thing I can say is I see that it's been really hard on you and that a lot of, I don't want to say burden, but a lot of responsibility was placed on your shoulders, that it's not fair that it's yours because, in our culture, the context that your father wasn't around, but I just feel it's not fair, such as I've been through the same thing regarding my mom. My other siblings weren't around. I'm my mom's caregiver for when I lived with her. For since even when I started uni, I actually withdrew from uni to take care of my mom, hospital visits, things of that nature. I did my best. These past 9 months in COVID, I finally, after 9 months, got her into a facility and she canceled it. I took 9 months of my time calling every day, trying holistic things, trying different things. And then I don't have power of attorney. So she released herself from the facility. That's like her rehab, right? So you and I can relate to that. I did everything possible, but I also had that good support. And I also was in therapy for my therapist to share that, I can only do as I can do. It's not my responsibility. The rest of it, I didn't cause that on her, I also have to take care of myself first, because if I don't, I can't help her. And also me living with her wasn't going to help her anymore any longer. So I just share that to say that, like, I understand that because I did everything possible. And now my mom's just on meds like a zombie, right? Most of the time. And she's suffering. She lives in suffering. Like, how people are on bed rest like a vegetable. My mom, like she may not shower for days. She doesn't go outside. She's highly depressed because she's on antipsychotic medication, right? And like a higher dosage and then other medications. And it doesn't get to the root, right? It's just a Band-Aid, but it's so many years of that being on her that I can't unravel it all myself. Like, it's not my responsibility. But to come to accept that and know that there's nothing more I can do here, but just give you love and be kind and keep my distance to where I'm healthy. And then, financially and spiritually be able to take care of you once I am able to get myself to that point. My friend, who's also Indian, and she's psychiatrist and EMDR certified, right, for trauma. And she shared with me that, being in the Indian culture, it's like there's those expectations, but, it's not on me. It's like, I'll send money when I can and those kind of things. But for you, it's like you're in the situation, right? Like, you're in the frame. Mm-hmm. And you're in the frame. It's like, that's possibly why you need that break. Like for Atlanta, it's like you need some space by yourself alone for clarity. So that's what I take from it.
Right. That's a big part of it. I mean, granted, I come from a long line of working men, so I'll probably be working the entire time I'm there.
Really? I feel like do you see yourself as a black sheep, as like the change? Because that's what I am in my family. It's like I'm the entrepreneurial, route. It's like my mindset, all those things. It's like I'm breaking that 40-40-40, like, so it's like, I feel like that's you as well. And like being an actor, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, doctor, or any of those things. Like, I do CHA.I Like, that's right. Mental health and like mental resolve is not even, as paid attention to or known about in, our Indian community and things of that nature, unless people are psychologists and all. But talking about like the aunties and uncles, so it's like, this is like, oh, like that's embarrassing, or like, you know, it's something to be shameful about, like talking about, you know, personal business. Like,
Right.
it's like F you, like
Right.
way, but it's just like, not to them, but just, it's like, it's ignorance. It's like, because a lot of, right, our traditional aunties, uncles, grandparents, stuff, they're not educated about this. And I think that recently came up in the place that I live. I'm in an Airbnb, and the host did that. Oh, it's for millennials. Like mental health is for millennials. Therapy is for millennial. I can't even say it. Millennials for us, right? And I didn't say anything. I just laughed, and because I asked the person, hey, did they have therapy during this time when they're going through something? And they just laughed and said that's not for them. And it's like, you don't know what is for you until you know. And also that the reason why therapy isn't known for the older generation, that they just believe in church or different things, maybe because they weren't educated on it. It wasn't even as talked about, and it is now. Even when you and I were younger, in like Creekside days, you know, that's a complex that I used to live in. So like, it's like, we didn't know anything about mental health. Like, I wasn't able to share my feelings, like, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. This is anxiety. This is depression. This is body dysmorphia. You know, this is fear. Like, I didn't even use those terms. So it's like, if I didn't know this until just a few years ago, and I'm the age 28, it's like, there's no way that those people know. And they're like way older. So it's really that they just don't know any better.
No. Yeah, it's a big thing. Also the big thing about getting away is a lot of who you are, especially when you're like just surrounded by people all the time, is just notions of who people have made you out to be.
Yes.
So the whole goal, I mean, this is just like 5 days of getting away for. Granted, it would be a much longer retreat, but there's a lot of unlearning involved, like a lot of like trying to take out the parts of the parts of me, the pieces of me that don't really serve the purpose for the life I want to live. Like, it's kind of living my life like through like imposter syndrome, like knowing I can do certain things but then thinking I can't do them. I feel like acting is a lot of that. It's someone's gonna pay me to pretend to be someone else, or someone's gonna portray me to emulate this other persona. That's a big thing. Like, I like lose my mind if someone wants to tip me at the restaurant, and it's like, what is this thing you're doing? I'm not used to.
It's a money paradigm. It's your paradigms. I also do the same things. I mean, I changed my money paradigm like when I released my, and it's like, you know, it shifts. Like, once you know, oh, I value C.H.A.I Together, like I value myself. It's like, you're supposed to make money doing what you love. So it's like, no, you shouldn't hesitate for that. And you do deserve a tip. It's like, you're putting your hours and hours into your work. And just even the imposter syndrome, it's like, so I originally wanted to create something, the title of mental health for C.H.A.I Together. And I'm not a therapist, you know, I'm not a clinician. So I had that paradigm that I'm not able to do this. This isn't who I am. This isn't, you know, I'm there for the support and things of that nature for mental resolve. I can share my things that I've done. So, you know, I was able to change that to the C.H.A.I Together collaborative that's going to be coming soon. And it was my paradigm, because my paradigm's telling me, hey, you're not a mental health clinician. Like, you're not a therapist. You're not a psychiatrist. It's like, who are you to do this? Right. But it's like, other people do it. I can do it. Other people are making money. I can make money. And it's really surround yourself with. And I think since you're in the workforce, once you step away from that and start doing more of what you love again, that you'll notice that it's possible for me because other people can do it, you know? It really just starts with taking that step. And like, that's a step you need courage for. Like, that this is me moving here was a step I needed courage for, but it came with time. But also I wrote it down on a goal card by or before March 21st, I'm moving to Atlanta, Georgia. I started saying this since November 7th last year, when I was here last time to speak for a summit. And I said to myself, I'm going to move here by or before August. And then I moved that up. And then I subconsciously always said it. And I told people, hey, I'm going to be moving to Atlanta. Like, do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like my Uber drivers and stuff. And then I made it happen. So it's like, whatever you keep repeating to yourself, repetition, right? Repetition and emotional impact are the two things that can change your paradigm. So when you keep writing it, writing what you want, it's going to stick with you.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah, but you also take those action steps too. It's not just someone had done this funny video where it's like, oh, I saw The Secret. I'm rich now. I'm rich now. I'm rich now. Like, you know what I mean, it's like, no, but you have to have like a business or like something that, you know, you're pushing. It's like, it's not like, I'm rich now, there's money in my hands. Like, it's just like,
right. It's a two-step process.
It's way more than that. Like, it is.
Well, right.
One book I want to recommend, I have yet to read it. I brought it with me though. Maybe when I see you, I'll share it. But Stella Adler, The Art of Acting. And we both know like Bernard Hiller. And it's like, you know, really investing in you. Like the reason why I am how I am now and why I'm here doing C.H.A.I Together is because I invested in me. Like I put money into me in programs and coaching. I'm in the new coaching now. And it's like, I'm doing these things with what I have and where I am because I know where it can take me. So everything that I'm doing is for me. And it's like the more you do for you, the more you can build your knowledge up and build yourself up to that level of confidence to where you can take that next level, financially build yourself up and help other people. But if I were to not have any of that personal development and go out to help people, I don't even have the mental resolve. So how I can help someone else, you know?
Right.
So that's just one thing I want to suggest is invest in it doesn't have to be, of course, like invest in something you need. Like I don't know if you want to share, but like I don't know if you've been in therapy, like regarding your grief for your brother. Have you?
Not recently. That one I just dealt at my own pace. I gave myself a time frame. I gave myself like, okay, if like whatever I need to do, I got to deal with in this next year. When it comes to like the emotional atmosphere, I have to not get it under control, but I have to process it. Just like I mean, going from like this mumbling stage to just being able to talk about it was like a big it was a big thing for me. I mean, there's times like someone will be going through their personal grief, like with the loss of a loved one, and I still have a tough time like comforting them. Like, hey, this is something I went through. Maybe this could help you on your journey. So I'm not there yet, but that's like the next thing I'm working towards.
Well, yeah, it's PTSD. Like I see a lot of that, and I see that. I personally would recommend therapy for you at the time, and also there is no time for healing. We're always healing until we pass.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
It's like I know what you mean to get it together, but it's like you can do so with the support, and I feel like the support you need is professional. Like you know what I had, and that's what helped me to collapse that time to get everything out with a professional, to where I was able to have now skills and things to cope with for when I had my abortion with my twins. So other things. So I highly recommend that because I took 9 months of therapy and then, you know, it was transformational. Now I'm not in therapy, but if something comes up, you know, that I'm having a hard time dealing with, like I will reach out to my therapist to book a session. But yeah, like I would recommend that. And I wouldn't be so hard on myself or put that time limit on myself for healing because it's you know, death. It's something, I mean, I haven't personally experienced with someone close to me, right? Such as a family. So I don't know what that feels like, but I can only imagine how hard it could be. And that's not something that, for example, my abortion and losing my kids isn't something that I forget. That's something I may think of on a daily basis or like every second day. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not something you forget. So it's like your brother is definitely not something you forget. It's, you know, where you get to a place, and it may not be in that year, right? It's where you get to a place where when you think about him, you smile, or when you think about him, you don't feel guilt. You don't feel, you know, like you could have done something more, or you don't feel that, you know, just upset or angry about it.
Right. Yeah. No, I completely agree. It wasn't the emotional work is done. It was just like getting back to being a functioning adult. Like there's conversations, there's certain conversations which I just can't meet someone on. It's too much.
Well, no, because you're not there. And it's like for me, it's like you know, even friends, it's like certain friends may not be able to comfort you with certain things because they don't have that resolve themselves. And
Mhm.
it's like if someone's going through that's like you just went through, you know, a loss, a death, and if someone else is going through, it's like it's not comfortable for you. So it's like, you know, with all due respect, you know, I want to be there for you, but at this time I'm not comfortable. You know, you just share that with the person, or you say that, you know, it's a trigger for me at this time, and I would appreciate it if you spoke about it with someone else because I'm not comfortable, you know, today, and maybe
Mhm.
I will be, but not at this time. That's how you tell people that when you're not comfortable or that you can't help them during this time because it's triggering you. Like, you know, it's bringing up things for you, and that's not okay because that can hurt the healing process. Like my therapist told me that,
Right.
for example, like I know you have to go. We're gonna cut it soon. So
Mhm.
the fact that when I spoke, it was like 9 a.m. and I spoke on my friend's podcast regarding abortion and with details, and I was very emotionally uncomfortable. Like I
Right.
didn't, it was so early to speak about something so heavy, and I was still grieving. And
Mhm.
I talked about it and I felt awful. Like I didn't want to talk about that. Like, you know, so early in the morning, but I did it anyway. But it's to have those boundaries and know next time, like, no. And from then on, I haven't spoken about it in detail because I have to be careful who I speak about it with, on what platform, and it's something very personal for me. And people have their own opinions on abortion, right? So this person has different opinion, and it's like it's even more uncomfortable for me to share that you have a different opinion, you know, like pro-life, and it's like you only know someone's situation when you've been in their shoes,
Right.
anyway. So like regarding that, and it's like now I know I have boundaries not to do that, and that I'm no longer comfortable speaking about such a sensitive matter on just podcasts and just rambling on about it. It's not like talking about food or something. It's a very heavy topic. You know what I mean? It's a
Right.
heavy topic. I'm not just, and you know, just so you know, like when you do have a pre-call for podcasts, like they want you to dig right into it. And I this is something that I shared with them is that, you know, I would like to get to know you more before I speak about that, because the pre-call I wasn't as well that day, and I said I don't want to talk about it right now. I said I'll talk about it on the podcast, but not right now because I'm not okay right now. And
Mhm.
um and they understood, but it's like they were just like, so let's talk about the, you know, the greatest loss you have. Like, for example, you know what I mean? It's like, that's out of nowhere. Like, that's not where I am at my day. I'm not,
Right.
I don't know you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't just like start talking to you. I just met you.
Right.
Um,
You need something in common or some type of connection to
yeah, like
open
I
up.
need a icebreaker. Like you can't just be like, okay, pre-call, like let's get into it. That does not work. That's very heavy topic. Um,
Mhm.
maybe like a few years from now, I can just talk about it like that, but no. Okay.
Right, right. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of like talk shows have a pre-interview,
Yeah.
15, 30 minutes, whatever, like, hey, this is what we're going to go over. It gives you a chance to, and that's a weird thing that I don't think that exists yet for podcasts. It's kind of just like you said, you just go full force, like, hey, bad day, no problem. Not comfortable about this subject. Let's talk about it anyway.
Oh my God.
um, I mean, it's realism. It's the difference between theater and film. Theater, you're just out there, you know your lines, you're in front of a crowd. Film, you get to take breaks in between takes.
Mhm.
It's a whole different emotional
You
baggage that
know,
goes, yeah,
well, I said no, so I didn't do it. I haven't done it. I haven't done any. I've been speaking less on others' platforms because this time for me, it's, you know, whatever I'm comfortable with, but I've tried together. So, um,
right.
you know, you also spoke about this at, you know, 9:30 in the morning. Now we're
This
almost
is
an hour in.
fair. Yeah, right.
How does it feel for you? Like, does it feel okay for you? Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, it's in the morning and it's just this heaviness coming over me.
Uh, it's not that as much. I mean, it's just
Mm.
talking about my brother. I mean, it not there's like of course certain things I don't want to say because I'm not
Mhm.
comfortable, but it's also not painting him a certain way. Like I don't want
Of
people
course.
to come on here and like, oh, his brother was not that he was whatever. He was beautiful. He was like the one of
Yeah.
the like greatest kids. I mean, he's the greatest kid I knew. I mean, he was technically more like a son because I mean I spent a lot of time babysitting and raising him. But I think that was more of my focus. It's like, okay, I don't want to paint my brother a certain way. I just
Of
want
course
him
not.
to, right, just like explore. Like he was a light being that didn't have the opportunity. Well, he shared some of his light, but not as much as he'd be able to give.
So, for example, I mean, there's a story behind why I moved to Atlanta, and it's because there was violence at home, but I also don't want to paint my parents a certain way for others. It's like what happened, but they also have mental illness, which leads them to be violent and things of that nature. And that's something that's beyond me. That's been happening, domestic violence in Indian families, hands on one another, like stems from India so long ago. But it's like, I can share what happened, but it's I don't want any regarding my dad or my mom, people's perceptions on them. It's like, that's between them and I. That's not of any business. Because things happen all the time. I mean, I could have done something wrong. I've done plenty of things unethical since I was young, with my parents.
I'm not a saint.
Yeah, and it's like I get it, and it's like it's an illness, so it's like I can share it, another time what happened, but it's not to perceive them as evil or bad because of that. It's not them; it's their illness, right? Yeah. So, but this was great. I'm so happy you were on. Like, oh, it was such a good vibe. So you're coming here for 5 days.
2 days. I will be there at 4 p.m.
Wow. Okay, we're going to talk after this. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And if you didn't catch this live, this was freaking amazing. This is really amazing. And I spoke more on this than I believe I ever have on any of my Try Together screens. Like back and forth. It's like, but it vibed because I can relate to the things and I can compare and contrast with my own. And it's just, whenever I do my lives, there was really an alignment because it tends to be at the right time. You see like how you're coming here. It's like everything just happens at the right time for the right reason. Because when I actually, just like before we go, when I released C.H.A.I came to me in a dream. Like as in the night of my abortion, I dreamt about a mug with like a little brown baby in it. And I shared that with another live, like by myself. But I dreamt about that, and I always wanted to open a coffee shop. And then I was inspired by my mom's, schizophrenia to her and I drink chai together, Indian chai. And I did a YouTube named Chai Together. And then when I started, when I turned in my 3-minute submission for Mr. Les Brown speaking, right? That was the first time I recorded myself on camera. And then since then, I've just lifted off. And that's because I turned my ideas into actions. So it's like, I'm just really looking forward to like what comes next for you with acting.
Stay on the lookout.
I know. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the time of day. I appreciate it.
I know it's your morning. Thank you, everybody. And if you didn't catch it, once again, you should watch this because it was amazing. So thank you so much. Bye.